Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Sravanam Diaries Podcast.
Reading Bhagavad Gita as it is, the book by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Chapter 7, Knowledge of the Absolute. Text 1. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Maya Sakta Manapartha Yogam Yunjan Madashraya Asamshayam Samagram Mam Yathagyasya Sitat Shrinu. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Now, hear, O son of Pritha, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt." Purport. In the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the nature of Krishna consciousness is fully described. Krishna is full in all opulences, and how he manifests such opulences is described herein. Also, 4 kinds of fortunate people who become attached to Krishna, and 4 kinds of unfortunate people who never take to Krishna are described in this chapter. In the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, the living entity has been described as non-material spirit soul, capable of elevating himself to self-realization by different types of yogas. At the end of the 6th chapter, it has been clearly stated that the steady concentration of the mind upon Krishna, or in other words, Krishna consciousness, is the highest form of all yoga. By concentrating one's mind upon Krishna, one is able to know the absolute truth completely, but not otherwise. Impersonal Brahmajyoti or localized Paramatma realization is not perfect knowledge of the absolute truth, because it is partial. Full and scientific knowledge is Krishna, and everything is revealed to the person in Krishna consciousness. In complete Krishna consciousness, one knows that Krishna is ultimate knowledge beyond any doubts. Different types of yoga are only stepping stones on the path of Krishna consciousness. One who takes directly to Krishna consciousness automatically knows about Brahmajyoti and Paramatma in full. By practice of Krishna consciousness yoga, one can know everything in full, namely the absolute truth, the living entities, the material nature, and their manifestations with paraphernalia. One should therefore begin yoga practice as directed in the last verse of the 6th chapter. Concentration of the mind upon Krishna, the Supreme, is made possible by prescribed devotional service in 9 different forms, of which Sravanam is the first and most important. Sravanam. Jai. So hence, Sravanam Diaries, trying to purify ourselves by concentrating our minds upon Krishna and helping everybody who tunes in. Okay. The Lord therefore says to Arjuna, Tat Shrinu, or hear from me. Hear from me. No one can be a greater authority than Krishna, and therefore by hearing from him, one receives the greatest opportunity to become a perfectly Krishna-conscious person. One has therefore to learn from Krishna directly, or from a pure devotee of Krishna, and not from a non-devotee, upstart, puffed up with academic education. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, this process of understanding Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth, is described in the 2nd chapter of the 1st canto as follows. Shrinvatam svakatha Krishna punya shravana kirtana hridyanta sthohya bhadrani vidunoti suhritsatam nashta prayeshva bhadresho nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavatyuttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki tadarajastamo bhava kamak lobhadayaschaye cheta etarana vidham sthitam sattve prasidati evam prasanna manaso bhavad bhakti yogataha bhagavat tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayate bhidyate hridaya grandhish chidyante sarva samshaya kshiyante chasya karmani drishta evatmanishvare. Quote, to hear about Krishna from Vedic literatures, or to hear from him directly through the Bhagavad Gita, is itself righteous activity. And for one who hears about Krishna, Lord Krishna, who is dwelling in everyone's heart, acts as a best wishing friend and purifies the devotee who constantly engages in hearing of him. Haribol! In this way, a devotee naturally develops his dormant transcendental knowledge. As he hears more about Krishna from the Bhagavatam and from the devotees, he becomes fixed in the devotional service of the Lord. By development of devotional service, one becomes freed from the modes of passion and ignorance, and thus material lusts and avarice are diminished. When these impurities are wiped away, the candidate remains steady in his position of pure goodness, becomes enlivened by devotional service, and understands the science of God perfectly. Thus, Bhakti Yoga severs the hard knot of material affection and enables one to come at once to the stage of asamshayam samagram, understanding of the Supreme Absolute Truth, Personality of Godhead. Unquote. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.17 to 21. Therefore, only by hearing from Krishna or from his devotee in Krishna consciousness can one understand the science of Krishna. Text 2. Jnanam teham savijnanam idam vakshyam yasheshataha yajgyatva neha bhuyon yaj gyatavyam avashishyate. I shall now declare unto you in full this knowledge, both phenomenal and numinous. This being known, nothing further shall remain for you to know. Purport. Complete knowledge includes knowledge of the phenomenal world, the spirit behind it, and the source of both of them. This is transcendental knowledge. The Lord wants to explain the above-mentioned system of knowledge because Arjuna is Krishna's confidential devotee and friend. In the beginning of the 4th chapter, this explanation was given by the Lord, and it is again confirmed here. Complete knowledge can be achieved only by the devotee of the Lord in disciplic succession directly from the Lord. Therefore, one should be intelligent enough to know the source of all knowledge, who is the cause of all causes and the only object for meditation in all types of yoga practice. When the cause of all causes becomes known, then everything knowable becomes known, and nothing remains unknown. The Vedas, Mundaka Upanishad 1.3 say, Kasminu bhagavo vigyate sarvam idam vigyatam bhavatiti. There is also another one I really like. Yasmin tushti jagat tushtam, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Meaning, if you please the Lord, then everyone will be pleased. And here it says, if you know the Lord, everything will be known. Jai. Okay, we shall stop here. Thank you so much for tuning in today. The book links, previous episodes timeline, and biography of the author can be found on Sravanamdiaries.com. The link is in the description, and we shall see you tomorrow. Hare Krishna.